Hello and welcome back to Blue Line Banter. I am Tristan. I'm joined here by Mackenzie. It's been an interesting week. There's been a lot, especially in the Oilers side of things. We have a lot to talk about. But before we get into the Oilers stuff, we're going to take a little look around the NHL the past week. And I'm going to start us off by talking about something I have found extremely interesting over the past two seasons, and that is the Kraken's ability to find players that teams have given up on and find a way to unleash their potential and still be a bad team. So, Mac, I'm going to start us off with talking about, obviously, their latest pickup from the Rangers, Capo.
That was massive for them, honestly. It was massive.
That was a good trade. They didn't give up really anything for him, and the Rangers are obviously going through it this season and selling pieces off. But I think they might have given up on Capo a little early.
Kind of like Puljujärvi, honestly.
I don't know if he gave up on Puljujärvi too early.
Yeah.
It's not like he went to Carolina in that trade and suddenly was, putting
amazing.
up almost a point per game like Capo is here. He's not been good. I'm pretty sure he's in the AHL right now.
He is. Yeah, they waived him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Penguins, if you can't make that Penguins team, I'm sorry, Puljujärvi, but
yeah,
I don't care what the advanced numbers had to say.
Yeah.
But right, so Capo, he got drafted, and then was it 28, the summer of 2019, I think. But just looking through his career, his highest season is 22-23 with 40 points in 82 games, so under half a point per game. And then it dropped down to 19 points in 61 games. And then this season, in the 30 games he played for New York, he got 14 points. So still under half point per game.
Yeah.
In the 15 games he's played with the Kraken since this trade, he's got 13 points.
Okay, that is unreal and just shows that it was not him that was the problem.
No, it wasn't. I mean, Seattle, I guess maybe more opportunity, than he was getting. But, I don't know. I feel like they kind of tried to deploy him. I don't know what it is about people going to Seattle, but you look back to last season when they picked up Eli Tolvanen off of waivers from Nashville, where he would, in his time with Nashville, had 22 points in 40 games, 23 and 75, 4 and 13. His highest being, it would have been the 23 points in 75 games. He gets waived and gets picked up, and this was in 22-23, mind you, actually. So 2 years ago, but in that season, he went 48 games with 27 points. And next season goes 41 points in 81 games, so over a point per game, or half point per game, sorry. And then this season, he's at 19 and 48, so he slowed down a little bit, but for that one season after they picked him up, he was insane. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy that the Kraken can do this and then still not be good.
Yeah, that's crazy because although they are picking up these players, up until 3 or 4 games ago, they were on an insane slide. They could not win a game. And I love Jessica Campbell. I think she's amazing. And I think she's doing great things for the NHL already.
I mean, you see the fan appreciation behind the bench and everyone trying to everyone loves her, and it's great for the game in the position she's in.
Yeah. Yeah, Seattle as a whole, as an organization, I really like.
100%.
I think they are well-run and well-rounded, but that does not change the fact that their team is a bunch of AHLers. And I don't feel bad saying that.
No, you don't, because I've got their lines pulled up here, right? So right now, it's Schwartz, Beniers, Capo. And, Schwartz is a stud. I'd take him. Great goal scorer. Beniers, he's good.
He is good.
I just don't know if he's a true number one center.
Yeah. And it's still early to tell, though.
Early, absolutely.
It's still early.
But, I mean, yeah, definitely. I could see him, being a late bloomer.
Yeah. And also, I think that the fact that they were able to lock him in to that contract
100%.
early on was really smart, because if you wait and they go off, then you're paying double the amount.
Well, let's talk about their second-line center, Chandler Stevenson, who they locked to a big-ticket signing this offseason after some good years in Vegas, and that's looking like one of the worst contracts in the NHL.
That's crazy that he went from one expansion team to another.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
I never really even thought of that.
Yeah.
But no, Chandler Stevenson at 2C with Burakovsky and Bjorkstrand on his left and right. And, that's a fine third line on most teams. Maybe a fourth line.
Maybe. I don't know.
Their third line of Jared McCann, Wright, and Tolvanen. McCann's good. I'd take McCann. I think he's a good piece. Shane Wright has not been what they wanted when they drafted him early.
Not at all. No.
And honestly, for all the hype he was getting in that draft, only for him to feel offended when Montreal instead drafted Slafkovsky. What a move by Montreal that's turning out to be.
Honestly. And
that's good scouting right there.
And Montreal, they're having a dream season right now.
Yeah, it's weird to call it a dynasty season, but
it's a dynasty rebuild season, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because they're still not where are they sitting? I mean, they're 5th in the Atlantic, tied with the Senators, a point behind the Lightning, who are 3rd.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think people had quite they're ahead of Boston.
Which nobody saw coming.
No. I mean, I don't know if anyone truly saw the drop-off from Boston, which people have been saying Boston's not going to make the playoffs for 4 straight years, and then they keep doing it, and then this year it was hey, we're done doubting Boston, and now they're falling off. So but Seattle is currently sitting 6th in the Pacific. Yes, that's how I do math. 45 points in the 48 games they've played. They're 5 points behind the Canucks. I don't see them making any ground anywhere.
No.
They might the Ducks are catching up to them. They're 3 points back with a game in hand. So I could see a world where they finish below the Ducks, because the Ducks been heating up a little bit.
They have been. I saw that they played Florida last night, and it was a decent game. It was close.
Yeah, I really only saw the highlights in the intermission of the Oilers game, but it was...
That's what I saw, too.
Okay, there you go. And, I don't know what it is. It's just a lot of... You're right, maybe not AHLers all the way. I mean, I know you have your feelings about Brandon Tanev, but I feel a lot of these players are, good middle six players on a lot of teams, but... when your entire team is middle six players, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I get, they just went a very different direction than Vegas.
They did.
And
they
Vegas
really
had
did.
so much success. I think people look at Seattle and I think Vegas kind of ruined what a rebuilding, an expansion team usually goes through. And it's kind of this middling, you got a bunch of middling players from these teams out of the expansion. They've drafted okay, but they haven't gotten bad enough to get a top 5 pick. Mm-hmm. Except for the 1 year,
and also them making the playoffs their second year, second year,
and then upsetting Colorado in the first round, and maybe giving them okay, we're here when they weren't quite, and it's kind of giving me Nashville vibes of last year, where they made the playoffs, so this offseason they went and spent so much money, and now they're bad, really, really, really bad, And if you look at their defense, I kind of like their defense. I'm not going to lie. Vince Dunn with Adam Larson. I miss Larson. Bring him back. Yeah. I know he won't, but I miss Larson. I also miss Clefbaum. We
miss Clefbaum every day.
I know.
Every single day.
I don't think people give the Oilers enough credit for, I know everyone bitches about the Nurse contract, but that was coming off of us losing 2 of our top defensemen in back-to-back years. And then Nurse goes out and tears up the Canadian League. And if he would have walked to go sign somewhere else for that much money, because someone was probably offering it, how screwed would have our blue line been?
It would have been
our first pair,
dark ages for 3 more years.
Our first pair would have been Barry Ceci.
Yikes.
So I give, it sucks losing Larson and then Clefbaum. And Larson, understandably, with his dad and everything, I get it. But back to these guys. Riker Evans, Brandon Montour contract doesn't look good.
No, it does not.
Riker Evans is looking good. Brandon Montour's not. And then third pair, Jamie Alexiak and Josh Mahura. Alexiak, dark horse candidate for the Oilers at the deadline?
Honestly, I don't know much about him. So
He's big. He's mean, I think. He's a bit of a dark horse target. I don't really think it. At this point, I see the Oilers going and getting someone deeper, like a more of a depth defenseman. But
yeah.
we'll talk about that a little later. And honestly, the bright spot for this team a little bit is Joey Daccord.
I was just going to say Joey Daccord. I really like him.
Like, okay, 30 games, he's only won 16 of them. Like, that's not good, but I think that's more on the team in front of him because 2.49 goals against average. Solid.
Yeah.
914 save percentage.
That's unreal. He is a good player on a bad team.
Mm-hmm. And, like, don't get me wrong. Like, I guess, like, a lot of these stats you can kind of talk away because, like, well, Seattle gives up so many shots because they're bad. So, of course, the save percentage is inflated. But also, that with the 2.4, like, 2.49, it's like, he's a good goalie.
He is.
And
he is a very good goalie.
Seattle just gives me vibes of the Islanders where, like, they have really good players. They don't have the star power. They have good defense and good goaltending. They just can't score goals when they matter, at least. And so they just kind of middle away or sit near the bottom. And I'm sure, like, in the next 2 years, Seattle's going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Maybe win a round again. I don't see them pushing for anything, like, solid. So I really don't know. But that's really all I had to start was just the Kraken and their ability to find good players on teams that no longer want them.
Yeah.
Get production out of them and still be mid.
Yeah. All right. Mine is Taylor Hall. Once an Oiler, always an Oiler. Am I right?
Well,
no.
Depends on who you ask, I guess, and I'm saying no, but
yeah, this is not me saying that I want him back on the Oilers.
Okay, I thought where you were going with that, and I was going to be worried.
No, he is not the answer, and I don't think he fits with our style of play anymore. So I'm not bringing that up. And he went to Chicago thinking that this was going to be his home for a while, right? And obviously it's not working out. He was healthy scratched, and then he's coming off an injury as well. And Chicago is just bad, very bad. So he is obviously in trade talks right now. And I was listening to Spit and Chicklets yesterday morning, as I do, and Keith Yandel brought up that Florida may be a target for him.
Florida, Halsey to the Sunshine State.
Wouldn't that be kind of crazy?
It would be very similar to them going and getting Tarasenko from last year. So I wouldn't be surprised. Not where I would expect him to go. I have a few teams of my own that I think would want him, but Florida was not one of them.
I think if he played next to Sasha Barkov, we would see a resurgence of 2013 New Jersey Devils Taylor Hall. Not to the same extent.
You know that was like a long time ago, right?
I know it was like 10 years ago. I know.
It was over 10 years ago.
Okay, 12 years.
It's
12, 10 years, it's literally the same thing.
That Hart Trophy.
But I think that he would really fit into their play style. And
I agree. No, I agree with you. Like, I see the fit, and like I could see it happening.
And I don't think that they would sign or like take him on for a long time. No. So it would be like a season, and then he would be moving again. So that may deter him from going there. But also, what player doesn't want to go to a cup contending team and have the chance to win the Stanley Cup? Like, it would be dumb of him to be like, no, I don't want to go there. Everybody wants to go to Florida. Everyone, like...
Well, yeah, why not? They don't have sports tax, and they got palm trees.
Exactly.
That's a big thing, apparently, according to the Sabres GM.
And they have a new training facility where players can, like, literally just drive, like, golf carts from their homes, I think, to the training facility.
That is the most Florida thing I have ever heard.
It really is.
Could you imagine telling, like, Connor McDavid, like, hey, hop in the golf cart and get to Rogers? Like, what? He'd
be like, no. Do you know the amount of construction that is going on Jasper? Yeah. I don't think so. All right. So that's what I had. I also, because last night was a really good night for hockey, there was chaos in New York against Ottawa.
I have not seen this. What are you talking about?
Okay, so Ottawa is in the process of being shut out, and
Correct.
Brady Tkachuk will not let that happen.
No? Okay.
Although, spoiler alert, it does happen.
Well.
So essentially, he drives to the net, and then there is a huge scrum, and Shesterkin is kind of shaky when he's getting up.
Okay.
But then he sees Brady Tkachuk and essentially just goes after him.
Like,
Leaves the crease
oh boy.
and goes after him.
Like, did he drop the mitts or was he just throwing blockers?
Oh, he was throwing blockers.
Oh no. Shesterkin, you can't do that.
It was crazy, and I really like Shesterkin, and I think he is an amazing goalie, and he is the only reason that the Rangers really have any type of success or cohesiveness in the locker room. He is the heart of that locker room.
Absolutely. I think Shesterkin is really the only reason the Rangers have had any success over the last 2 years, and I think he has hid a lot of the problems they have because he's just so good.
Yes. So that was really fun, and then the Rangers ended up winning 5-0.
I see that.
And that was Shesterkin's second shutout back-to-back, I'm pretty sure.
Damn. Go Shesty.
Nobody tell me if I got that wrong, okay? Nobody listen. Nobody correct me. Okay. I want to believe it.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. What do they know?
All right. So now we're going to introduce a little segment. It's called In the Intermission, because we do want to be covering local Edmonton sports as well, because we are in Edmonton and we are nobodies. So we need to talk about the things that are going on around us. That is what one of our instructors told us. And I was like, you know what, Dave? You have a point.
Yeah.
You have a point. Yeah. So I do the color commentary for the Ooks men's and women's hockey teams. And I see them a lot. And I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on both of their play styles.
Yeah.
And the women's team is like a dynasty team. They are so good. And every single year, the last 2 years, I guess, they've really done such a good job with bringing in rookies. And their coach, he was an Ooks player as well before. And then he went on to coach the women's team. And he's just been unreal.
Okay.
So I'm going to start off with the men's team. So the first half of the season was not great.
No.
They couldn't gel. Like, they couldn't do anything on the power play, and the PK wasn't that great, and getting any offense going was really difficult for them.
I know the couple games I sat up in the booth and watched and did a little bit of work for. It was a little tough to watch.
Yeah. But one of the bright spots through the entire season has been McCoy Bidwell.
Yeah.
He is their starting goalie, and he's just so good and so much fun to watch. You can tell he competes so hard in every single game.
Absolutely.
And a lot of their wins have come because of him, because he just stands so strong. And when he's getting peppered with shots, he's not letting them get by him. So he faced 66 shots on the 17th. This last Friday.
66?
66.
Why are we giving up 66 shots to anyone?
I don't know.
In any league?
I don't know.
That is insane.
They did play Red Deer, who has won the ACAC the last 2 years in a row.
Okay.
But knowing the ACAC, Red Deer is not the team that they were last year.
Yeah.
And I'm going to keep it at that. I don't want to get too political on here. So he stopped 63, and now he's the ACAC Player of the Week.
I would hope so. That's a lot of shots.
Yeah.
It's a lot of rubber.
Yeah. So also he ended up playing on the Saturday night, I think. Actually, you know what? Unless I'm confident in it, I'm not going to say it. So that's my little bit on McCoy Bidwell.
Okay.
And then one other player that has been just really flourished and done well this year is Tyler Blocka. So he's a rookie.
Yep.
He's massive. He's like 6'3", 6'4", and in the ACAC, that's big.
Okay, it's like my height.
Yeah. So he is fast and he drives hard to the net and is always creating offense. I can't believe how fast he is for how big he is. That's not something that you
Always
usually
seen
see.
Big guys with wheels that scare me. Like
Yeah, right?
Paige Thompson.
Exactly.
Scary.
Exactly. So he had it on Friday. They ended up going into a shootout because it was a super tight game like the entire time, aside from Nate having, I think it was like 34 shots to Red Deer's 66.
Yeah, well, you know what? At least the 34 is like a normal game number.
Exactly.
66 is insane.
Yeah.
That is insane work.
So he had some really good looks in the overtime, and then they went into a shootout, and he was their first player that they put out there and absolutely just went top shelf and put it home. So
Did he do a move? Did he do the Leon special? Like, what did he do? Just ripped it?
yeah, pretty much.
Insane.
Yeah. So it was so good. And then he has 10 goals and 8 assists in 16 games played, which is pretty strong.
For a rookie, yeah, that's good.
Very strong. So I could definitely see him being Rookie of the Year. And then also the Ooks women's team. I love talking about this team. I love watching them. Like, everything about this women's team is stellar. They are so good, and I cannot talk about them enough.
Yeah, I was only in the game or the booth for the one game, but they were fun to watch.
They make almost every team that they play look like the JV team. So they bumped down to the second in the ACAC standings because they came back from the December break and had 2 back-to-back games against Lakeland.
Didn't they go out to Europe for that break?
They did.
Yeah,
and
sure.
they like swept every single team.
That's insane.
They like killed every single team, aside from one where they went into overtime.
Okay.
So they had 2 games against Lakeland coming off of the break, which is already a really tough opponent because that's the team that they see every year in the finals.
Yeah.
They've won. NAIT has won the last 2 years in the ACAC for the women's team. So they had some rough games against Lakeland, and then they played Red Deer Polytechnic on the Friday, and they ended up getting shut out 3-0.
Yikes.
Yes. But then on Saturday, they played Medicine Hat. And Medicine Hat is a new program. This is only their second year in the ACAC. So they aren't very good.
Kraken coded.
Very much so. That was crazy.
Yep. That's my bad.
So essentially, Medicine Hat was coming off of a loss from Lakeland, and I think it was 8-1. And then NAIT is coming off of the Red Deer loss. So going into that, I was like, okay, both teams feel like they need to redeem themselves.
Yep.
I'm sure that Medicine Hat is like, oh my God, we have 2 heavyweights back to back. Like, you got to be kidding me. But they are also probably thinking, you know what? Nate's on a bit of a slide right now. Maybe we can take advantage of that. They did not, and they lost 7-1 to NAIT. So definitely got smoked.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah. And a couple players on this team that have made huge differences are the rookies.
Yep.
Abby Robar, she had a hat trick on Saturday.
Oh, wow.
And Kelly Stafford, she is one of the league leaders in points and goals. Mm-hmm. And then Caitlin Tong as well. She had an assist on all of Abby Robar's goals.
Yep.
So they played really well, and they had their rookie goalie in net as well because they had their starter in the night before.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? She deserves the night off because she works her butt off.
100%.
And this rookie goalie, she played outstanding, and they played so well in front of her. And I just love watching this team because they hold the line so well, and the offense they bring to every game is so good. The skill and the puck possession is insane. Like, they hold on to the puck for 2.5 to 3 minutes in the offensive zone, and the other team is just chasing it 90% of the time.
That's impressive.
It's so impressive. I had that written down on my notes on Saturday, that Medicine Hat could not escape their zone for 2.5 minutes straight. So that's 2.5 minutes that you are on the ice just defending. Like, you were exhausted.
Yeah, you're still tired for your next shift after that.
Yeah,
It takes-
100%.
You're praying for the intermission to come.
Yeah. So that is all I have for the Ooks men's and women's teams. I'm really excited to see how the rest of this season goes because it seems like the men's team is starting to gel and be really cohesive. And then the women's team, I don't doubt that they are going to get whatever's going on kind of figured out because it seems like they all are so close and they just have such a good relationship and their coach is just so good. So I don't doubt that they're going to get this figured out.
Yeah, no, sounds like some exciting hockey here at NAIT, and hopefully I can get up in the booth for some more games here if I'm not sick all the time.
Hell yeah.
The only thing I had for in the intermission was playoff football. We're getting very close to that, Super Bowl.
We are getting very close to the Super Bowl.
And for those of you who don't know, I don't know much about the NFL. I really don't. I just kind of know some things, but not a lot. Mac's been teaching me.
Trying to.
I'm a very, very tough student. But I wanted to ask is who you're rooting for?
The Eagles, obviously.
Eagles?
Yes. I am not going to lie. I'm a little bit wary that we're going to be playing Washington because Jaden Daniels has been so good. Mm-hmm. And their coach, the other Dan, not Dan Campbell, but Dan something, he literally just outcoached Dan Campbell, who is the coach of the year in the NFL. Like, he is so good. And Dan Campbell just got outcoached playing Washington. And I think the Bills-Chiefs game, it's a coin toss, honestly.
Yeah.
Because
I don't really care who wins because, again, I don't know much, but I think I'm going with the Bills.
Yeah.
I think it's their time, but I don't really know.
I don't know.
I'm just kind of saying stuff.
It's hard to say just because the Bills, their defense is decent, and Shakir and Josh Allen have really started to gel well together. Mm-hmm. And Josh Allen is having a career year. But also the Chiefs,
Patrick Mahomes.
They have Patrick Mahomes. And I'm going to get into this when we get into the Oilers, so I'm not going to say it. But everyone keeps on saying the Chiefs are having these close games all year. Mm-hmm. The way that organization, that team is run, they don't care about having blowout wins. They just care about having wins. Yeah, so, 100%. And that defense is so good. And Travis Kelce looks the way he should every playoffs. Everyone was like, oh, he looks washed up this season, blah, 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 blah. And then first playoff game, he has a touchdown and 7 carries, I think.
Damn.
That could be wrong. I don't have it up in front of me. But I'm just saying, don't doubt either team. But if I were to go away, I would probably say the Chiefs because of just they're playing in Arrowhead and the Chiefs are the Bills' kryptonite in playoffs. Yeah, I'm not that's just the way it is.
It feels very Oilers Kings.
Yeah.
And we all know how that's been 3 straight years, going to be 4 more than likely.
Yeah.
But if that's it for in the intermission, I think it gives us plenty of time to talk about our Edmonton Oilers.
That's kind of what I was hoping for, honestly.
The past week they've had since our last recording on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's been kind of crazy.
It has been an insane week. We started off with the game against the Wild. That was that Wednesday night where we went down 2-0 and then started the comeback and came back, won that game big. Okay, good comeback win. Feeling good. And then you're like, okay, well, next we have the Avalanche. And it's 3-0 Avs 12 minutes into the first. And you're like, well, boys are gassed.
Yeah. I was like, all right, this game is done. I
was like, all right, it's over. Boys are gassed. Yeah. This road trip has been insane, which that road trip was insane.
It was insane. And I know we can't use travel as an excuse.
Well,
but also we can.
Yeah,
we can.
I know Janmark said no excuses, but also you guys have gone across the continent and back twice.
Yeah.
And have been in 3 different time zones in the last 4 days.
And you're also about to go on another insane road trip
Yeah.
after this homestand.
So, like, you could definitely use it as an excuse. But after that, you had the Avalanche, you come back, which was an insane comeback.
It was unreal. It was
Like,
so good.
The Bouchard game winner after getting walked by McKinnon, like, poetic justice there. And, like, I bet Blackwood wants that first RV goal back. Or
Probably.
just kind of, I really don't know what the read was on that play from him, but I guess he thought it was going up and it did not, and just kind of beat him 5-hole. But Mackenzie Blackwood, since signing with the Avs, hasn't allowed more than 2 goals in a game in any of his starts. And so we're the first team to break that with 4.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
That is crazy.
And then we went into the weekend where we played the Canucks, and we will get into that game at some point, where we lose 3-2. And
I hope everybody's ready for me to be fired up.
oh, yeah. We have thoughts on that game. And then obviously last night where we lose to the Capitals 3-2 in a game that I thought we really deserved to win.
100%. 100%.
The Capitals are first in link for a reason. They were opportunistic. They beat us off the rush, and Logan Thompson gave them solid goaltending. And, he should have been on Team Canada. I'm going to preach that.
Yeah.
Over, Sam Montembeault. Tinfoil hat theory. They just wanted a Montreal Canadian on a team because it's posted there.
That's actually not crazy to me. That's not crazy.
I don't think it's that crazy of a take, but, like, it's kind of tinfoil hatty.
I'm going to put on the tinfoil hat all day. Like, no matter what. I'm like, yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
Especially with guys like Caulfield being snubbed.
Yeah.
I think it was like, well, we can give it to Sam Montembeault as the third. And it's like, but even then, like, I think Thompson deserves to be there over Bennington.
100%.
So, like, I just feel like he got snubbed. And, like, even most of the guys you consider snubs have been on insane tears since they found out they're not on Team Canada, Hyman, Scheifele included. So it's like, what are we doing here, Team Canada?
Okay. Also, really, like, so fast. I was listening to 880 on my way home from the game on Saturday.
Ooh, that had to have been fun.
It was kind of crazy. Bob was fired up. Like,
Yeah.
Also, I would trust Bob Stauffer with my life.
Okay.
But also, they're talking about the Blues and how they actually haven't won back-to-back games. Or it was like 3 straight or something like that.
Yes, they've been very
like they're
lose two.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Tristan is checking this for me. He's fact checking me.
Yeah, sorry,
which is good.
Fact checking. I mean, I'm scrolling up a bit. I don't want to go back to like the beginning of December. Loss, win, loss, win, loss,
Okay.
loss, win, loss, win, loss.
So they haven't won
win,
3
win,
games in a row.
Loss. Yeah, they haven't won 3 in a row. They've won a couple back to back, but
Yeah.
nothing more than that.
So that also comes on to Jordan Binnington not being
Absolutely.
able to win more than 1 game in a row.
No.
So, or 2, I guess. But
Unreliable in the playoffs.
yeah. All right. But
Or like 4 Nations or whatever.
yeah.
That's what I was getting at. But is there anything specific you want to start with as we go into the Oilers, or do we want to kind of do this chronologically and have any thoughts throughout the games throughout the week?
Let me see.
Because like the Wild game, I don't have too many thoughts about at this point. I mean, like
It was almost a week ago.
it was a week ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, like you can talk about the McDavid elbow that was never called, and
I don't give a fuck.
He got
I
away
don't
with
care.
that one there. Like it's whatever at this point. My whole thing is when on this road trip did McDavid bond with the Venom symbiote, because he is in his black spider suit era.
He really is. And you know what? I support it.
I support it. Sometimes
100%.
Sometimes you gotta do it yourself.
Yep.
Avalanche game again. I don't have too many thoughts. The comeback was nice. They're watching. First periods sucks.
They do need to get their first period figured out.
Last night's was better.
It was.
But yeah, between the Wild, the Avs, and the Canucks game, it's like, holy. I'm just going to wait until the second to turn this game on.
Yeah.
And assume we're down 3 or goal. Like,
Yeah.
3 goals.
Yeah.
Which, again, Canucks, we gave them 3 goals in like 3 minutes. Or whatever it was, 3 goals in like 4 minutes, something like that.
It was also bullshit penalties.
Absolutely. And then also, not even was it bullshit. The fact, like, on the second power play goal where Pedersen absolutely trips Nurse in front of the net, and they don't call it because like, oh, he stepped on his stick, but then we got called a trip later in the game because the guy stepped on our stick. Okay, Wes McCauley, I see you. We love Wes, right? Her silence speaks volumes.
It's a touchy subject right now.
I know.
Like, it really is. It really is.
I really think we need to just bite the bullet and let's talk about Connor McDavid's suspension.
All right. You know what? I think he should have hit him harder.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. You want to defend that take?
Nope.
No? All right. We're just going with it.
Okay. I'm aware this is a homer take, and I'm okay with that. And you know what? One of us has to be logic and one of us has to be emotion. Clearly, Tristan is logic. I'm emotion. And I am fine with that. I can handle that. And you know what? I can handle a 1-game suspension. But three is a joke. Literally a joke.
Okay, listen. I was expecting 2. 3 is a little much, and like I still think it's fine. It's a little more than I wanted. And I really liked Leon's comment in his interview yesterday morning that we listened to in class, which was hilarious. But of him saying, I guess they just don't care about their stars being in the game. What a shot. But
honestly.
Yeah,
honestly.
3 games is a little much, especially when you like look around the last 2 years to similar plays and suspensions.
Matthews' suspension, it was not in the face, I don't think.
Yeah.
But it was very similar, and he got 2. And I'm like, why don't we just treat the stars the same?
Yeah, I mean, but you can also look at like the Perron one where he like gets up and chases the guy and then hits him in the face. And it's like McDavid did kind of chase down Garland a bit. Not a lot. He took like a stride, but he still had time to not do it.
But he also still like he's like in stride away. Garland is like trying to still grab him. You know what? I would turn around and be like, "Get off me, bitch."
No,
with your short midget ass.
That's true. If Garland was a normal human size, not the size of a garden gnome, that would have hit him in the shoulder.
Exactly.
But I mean, yeah. And then Myers, Bouchard like goes down and is like, "Hi Myers, how are you doing?" And then Myers pops him one right in the chin. Bouch's hands were down, one hand on his stick. He was not a threat. And like, I think that's my reasoning for why I think Myers, whatever McDavid got, Myers deserved one more.
100%.
Was because it was unprovoked and
exactly.
against a defenseless player. But like, I get why they just evened it up because it's easy and based
that's lazy. That's lazy.
It's lazy. And the penalty call by I think it was McCauley who did the call.
Yep, it was.
It was lazy. All right, so we have a match, and everyone else gets a minor. And then at the end of the game, they took away 2 of the minors because they're like, no, what? Like just going on the ice and saying everyone else has a minor is lazy.
It is so lazy. And I honestly, I do not care that there was 12 seconds left in that game or whatever was left because
we have to stop calling the game by the time on the clock.
100%, because that's exactly what Corey Perry said. And he said, and I quote, just give me one sec. I had it in front of me. And then why are we thinking that way? They don't do it in football. They throw the flag every time there's a penalty. That's the problem. We're reffing the score. We're reffing the time of the game.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And it's insane that even like, I know this isn't like a new concept. A lot of people have been talking about it, but you're pulling up these star players and their penalties drawn per 60. And like McDavid is like 270th.
Yeah.
In the league, which is insane. He's drawn 14 penalties this year. That's it.
Which is crazy because he has the puck the most out of
yeah.
anybody in the league.
And you could definitely tell last night, like, I honestly thought Oilers played a really good game against the Capitals.
They did.
But you could tell where they were missing him the most was the power play and zone entries because they kept giving it to Draisaitl to try and do like the drop pass, fly through the neutral zone, hand it off to Nuger Hyman on the blue line. And he just doesn't have that same speed to scare defensemen back. So they were just holding the blue line more. And I mean, no offense to Arvidsson, but he's, I believe, a right shot and McDavid's the left. So like they're trying to play him in the McDavid spot and it's just passes were missing and it just wasn't working. So I don't know what they do with the power play for the next 2 games, but like we had they got that power play late in the game like pretty much exactly with the bringing it to the end of the clock. And I don't know, I felt like they were a little too passive on it. But I still think they played a really good game and just got beat by a more opportunistic Capitals team. And I like our chances against them in 7 with McDavid and Kane in the lineup.
I also agree with that. And I'm pretty sure you told me this yesterday, but Mangiapane,
Yeah.
that's how I say it?
Andrew Mangiapane, who knows? It's a weird one.
He is in the top 5
Yeah.
for penalties drawn. What line does he play on? The 3rd line?
I don't even know where he plays. I think I heard his name like twice last night.
Yeah, and he was one of the guys that drew a penalty, and I was like,
Yeah.
how is this happening? How is this happening?
Well, yeah, I think like number 1 in the league is Brad Marchand in
Yeah.
penalties drawn this year, which is crazy because that dude, I get it. I feel like a lot of these guys in the top 5 are like even up calls, going to 4-on-4, both get a roughing and whatever, move on. But it's like Zadorov's in the top 5.
Yeah,
It's like-
which doesn't make any sense either.
Yeah, or maybe it was like top 20. I don't know. Zadorov is still way too high. Tom Wilson, I think, is up there. Like it's these like not enforcers, the wrong word, but the rats.
Yeah. Also, I just checked. Mangiapane, he's on the 4th line.
That's crazy. This dude's playing like 10 minutes a game and
Yeah.
drawing the most penalties.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Basically a penalty a shift,
That is
if you were to think about it like that.
That's crazy. No, I mean, yeah, it's insane. And I kind of like the whole narrative of, well, the league doesn't protect its stars. And I really like McDavid just being like, you know what? I might just draw out of all NHL events because you guys don't want to protect me.
Do it. You're getting that bag from Aloe.
Yeah.
Do it. I would love to see that.
Like, could you imagine Connor pulling out of 4 Nations?
It would be.
What a blow that would be to the NHL.
It would be. And like revenue,
Oh, way down.
way down. I don't know if I'd watch,
I probably wouldn't.
honestly.
Because then it's like, well, we don't have an Oiler, so
Yeah,
why watch?
exactly.
Maybe I'd watch Sweden, go back home, go RV, but like I'm not watching Team Canada.
No.
So like I don't think he would, because then like, you know, Team Canada can look at like you know, during the Olympics and be like, well, you didn't play this, so you don't play at the Olympics,
Yeah.
and they could threaten him that way, I guess. But like,
But it's not like directly affiliated.
no, it's not. But like both Team Canada and Team USA have been pretty public about being like, listen, if you don't do the things we ask of you, you don't get to come to Italy.
Do you really think they're going to be like, Connor McDavid, you didn't go to 4 Nations, so you don't get to go to the Olympics?
Probably not, but like
No.
they could.
They wouldn't. He is one of their biggest chances of winning that
Absolutely.
tournament. He's the key player in that.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, Connor gets suspended 3 games. It's a little much. We both agree. Myers probably deserved 1 more than whatever, whether it was 2 and 3 or 3 and 4, whatever. But
Also, I just saw this on Twitter last night.
okay.
So again, I don't really know anybody else's schedules but our own. So I'm assuming that Washington is playing Vancouver fairly soon if they haven't already, because it would make sense for them to play them while on this road trip.
The Capitals play them on Saturday.
Okay. Yep. That makes sense. So I saw a tweet last night because obviously I have the Edmonton broadcast and not the Washington broadcast.
Yep.
But a Washington broadcaster said that Vancouver has the most toxic fan base in the NHL. And he is not wrong.
100%. I like Vancouver fans sit among the top of my hatred list. You know, like for a while there was the Kings fans, like, you know, especially after hearing like the thing that happened with Sicily in the, you know, bathroom when she was there, but like,
Yeah.
something about Vancouver fans, man, they're just so like ignorant. And like,
Did you see what somebody commented or tweeted about McDavid? They did the Make-A-Wish practice.
yeah,
And he was taking the kid in the wheelchair
yeah,
around the
I
ice.
saw the clips. Yeah.
And somebody said, oh, I hope he doesn't like hurt the kid, essentially. And
That's crazy.
Matt Waz from Oilers Nation was
boy.
like, this is actually crazy to say. And he quoted it and had said, like, I'm pretty sure I've seen multiple Canucks fans say this. Like, are you deranged? Are you deranged?
Yeah, let's make fun of the Make-A-Wish kid.
Literally.
Or I guess Connor with the Make-A-Wish kid. That's a great place to go and target.
Seriously.
It's so dumb.
There is nobody I will block faster on my Twitter. Seriously, if it pops up, I block them. Like, I physically cannot. During the playoff round.
Man, during the playoffs, I had to mute the word like Canucks, Vancouver. I had to mute so much.
I literally could not go on Twitter on my phone.
Yeah.
I was like, it genuinely makes my stomach turn and my blood boil.
Yeah.
And that entire series, I had to stay off
It
the
felt
app.
so good to beat them in 7.
So good.
It felt so good. And then I love their whole thing of like, well, when we have Demko back. And then they got Demko back for a little bit.
And he stinks.
And then he's hurt.
And he
then
stinks.
He's bad. And now he's back. And I mean, I know he beat us on Saturday, but we were at the end of an insane road trip.
And you know what? I believe in our chances against them in 7.
Oh, absolutely.
And I will say,
especially
the game.
It sounds like they're probably shipping out Brock Besser before the deadline.
what?
They had said last season they were talking about how, because he's a UFA at the end of the year, that they needed to get the extension done, and if they didn't have it done by the deadline, they're going to have to make their decision. And it sounds like their decision is to not let him walk for free.
That's crazy.
So
That's crazy.
I'm hearing things like Columbus wants him real bad.
That would oddly be a good fit.
It would be. It'd be a great fit. And who knows what's going on with like Miller.
Okay, I was also listening. I listened to basically the entire episode of Spit and Chicklets yesterday.
As you do.
As I do. And Biz actually ran in to the owner of the Canucks when he was like in Vancouver this last weekend.
Okay.
And basically said, don't trade JT Miller. He is bringing all this attention to you guys. Wait until like the summer and then do it. Which honestly, I don't hate.
No, I mean, like, you let him play, do whatever. I think that's fine. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. But also, like, I understand it because, like, the returns that I'm hearing online for Miller are ridiculously sad.
Yeah. The New York trade.
It was like Hedel and one of their defensemen and a first. It's like,
yeah.
No, not for 100-point guy.
No, definitely not.
So, like, I think it's just kind of crazy, the whole situation in Vancouver and how fast they turned on Tocchet after winning the what's the award called?
Jack Adams?
The Jack Adams. That's it. Yeah, like, he wins the Jack Adams, and then it's like the next year, like, we don't believe in your system anymore after it took us to Game 7 against the Oilers. And then it feels like he's lost the room. Now the fans hate him. And honestly, I think the nachos on the ice last night got more love than Rick Tocchet's got all season.
I believe that. And you know what? The nachos on the ice should have been the first star of the game.
I think so. I really think
because that was kind of like a turning point, and the Oilers were like, oh shit, we can score again. Let's go.
Apparently the guy who threw those nachos on the ice was insanely drunk and got escorted out, and he had to be tasered. Like, he got tasered on the stairwell.
That's crazy.
Allegedly to some things I saw on Twitter.
Allegedly,
in Twitter's opinion.
Yep.
Some guy tweeted out to, again, our boy Waz, and was like, I saw the guy. He was at section like 104, and he was insanely drunk and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, that was a thing.
Okay, I have one more thought about the Canucks game, and
Okay.
then I will stop because I've been pretty heated and crazy. Okay. The game against Vancouver, actually pretty much every game that we've seen in the last like year, has been eerily similar to the Vegas series in 2022.
Yeah.
2022?
Yeah, 2022.
Because they just it was 22.
What?
Sorry.
It was.
Sorry, literally don't listen to me. Because it was so emotional and high intensity.
Absolutely.
And that's what the Oilers struggle with, is when they can't keep their emotions in check.
I was going to say, like, I thought you meant, like, when the emotions of, like, just, like, the building and everything get bigger. And I'm like, no, they can definitely do that. You saw them.
They can do that.
They went down 0-3 and brought it back. But no, when they have trouble controlling their own emotions is when they get in trouble.
Yeah. And that's basically what happened in that Canucks game, because they weren't getting calls and they were getting called on everything. And you could just see like their frustration was boiling and boiling and boiling.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, this is like too eerily similar. So they need to figure out how to like contain that. Otherwise, it's going to just continue to.
I feel like we go through these cycles though with this team, where like we sit here and be like, oh well, they pissy Leon, and all these other guys can't control their emotions, Kane and blah blah blah. But then we get to the playoffs and it's like they do their scrums, they walk away. They do the scrums, they walk away, and they do a pretty good job of not taking dumb penalties after whistles.
They do.
So like, I think what this was for McDavid at least was just a boiling point of this road trip and everything he went through on it. And I mean, like I think Crosby had a really good quote.
Yes, he did.
About it. And I'm just going to pull it up real quick because I wasn't smart and had it prepared.
I told you to screenshot it yesterday.
I screenshot it. It's behind Haunts now. No, that's the nachos. There it is. It's like anything Crosby said. Sometimes your emotions get the best of you. It's a physical sport. The one time that you see it, you probably didn't see the 9 hits that Connor took. Those are the ones that you never make the highlights. When you retaliate, you make the highlights. Like, that's coming from Sidney Crosby, at a point considered the best player of the generation and savior of the NHL.
Yeah. And
so,
and he was in the position that McDavid's in.
Yeah.
He was getting run at in his first like few years in the NHL. And like with concussions and all of that. And I'm just going to say, I've seen people complain that McDavid dives and embellishes and all of that.
Which is just insane speak.
It is insane because also Bob Stauffer, he talked about this on his show on 880. And then he also talked about it on Spit and Chicklets. And he said, as somebody that watches every single game from a pretty good view, and also, if you talk to players in the league, they say that he does not embellish.
No.
He does not throw his head back on every call. He plays through 99% of them.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, he's so good at the game. The only way like defenders have a hope of stopping him is to hook him and slash him and hold him and drag him to the ice like by any means necessary. And it's like, okay, I get it, but why is he being penalized for being the best player in the world? Like, oh, it's the only way to defend him. Well, no, learn another way. Like, learn, adapt.
Seriously. Adapt or die.
It's not just McDavid either. Like, I don't want you guys to sit in here thinking, like, we're only... No, McKinnon goes through it. Matthews, Pasternak, like...
Draisaitl, every star player does.
This, and it's getting to a point where, like, why is Zadorov and Marchand and the rats...
The rats!
Why are they getting the protection... when they're going out there antagonizing and hooking and tripping? Like, how many slew foots have we seen against McDavid
exactly
on this road trip?
4? 3?
Yeah, like at least 3.
At least. And only one of them was a fine.
Yeah. So
which is like crazy.
And the fact, like, again, it was a fine after it wasn't called on the ice.
Yeah.
So like players are just starting to kick out their feet and cross-check them and hold them, like wrestle them to the ice during the final seconds of a game where you're trying to tie it. Oh, 1 sec. And Garland even admitted to it post game. He didn't even like wait. He's like, yeah, I just thought, like, I don't know the exact quote, but he was basically saying, like, he saw McDavid and was trying to take him out of the play for the rest of the game, and he figured that was the best way to do it. And he was right.
Yeah.
It worked. But like the fact that he admitted to, like, yeah, I'm just going to commit a penalty that wasn't called because it was the final 17 seconds of a game is insane work.
Yeah, and I'm just going to quote my man Bob Stauffer. I love this guy. Let me see. Sorry, my phone is taking a moment to...
No, you're good.
All right, so Bob Stauffer, absolute joke. This is Vancouver. 0 cups and 2 riots. He's being dry humped by Garland on the ice.
That's an insane quote, and I love it.
I love
0 cups, 2 riots. Yikes.
Bob is spitting facts.
I mean, he's not wrong. And, like, it's insane. The worst part is the Canucks are, like, having a bad year.
I know.
And I'm still, like, they could still make the playoffs. But you want to know what is crazy work right now?
Yes.
The Flames are in a playoff spot.
That's crazy, and I would love to see that again.
I would, but, like, I'm kind of scared. Wolf's really good. And, like, we were able to beat the Flames because Markstrom was Swiss cheese. Wolf is not Swiss cheese.
Yeah, but also you can't win an entire playoff series off of goaltending.
Ask the Rangers the last 3 years.
You think Dustin Wolf is Igor Shesterkin?
No. I am not comparing him to that at all. But you said you can't, and I'm just saying
I guess.
No, I think like I wouldn't be all that afraid of the Flames. Like they got some good players, but I wouldn't be overly concerned if we face them in the playoffs. I'm not really scared of anyone except for the Wild because they are our kryptonite, kind of. But we're beating them now. It's like I don't know, but historically,
Historically, but I think the Wild will sneak in on a wild card.
They're currently sitting second in the Central.
Nope. I don't think it lasts.
You don't think it lasts?
I don't think it lasts.
There's second in the Wild missing. I don't know if they're back yet, but 3 of their top defensemen and Kaprizov.
We can revisit this in April.
Okay, I'm just saying, like they're 3 points up on the Avs with a game in hand, who the Avs currently occupy wildcard 1.
I'm just saying the Avs, they're starting to get a little bit hot, and Mackenzie Blackwood is playing well, and McKinnon is McKinnon, Makar is Makar, Rantanen is Rantanen.
Rantanen is wanting a lot of money.
He is. He's wanting Leon Draisaitl money, which is crazy.
I don't blame him.
Yeah.
He kind of is. He is the Leon on their team.
He is.
And it's just, yeah, it's insane that like he wants the 14. The Avs are somewhere around like 12-1 or something, and Rantanen's not really moving on his number.
No.
So I wonder how that makes the next little bit for the Avs.
Yeah.
Imagine him walking.
That would be insane. That would cause chaos.
There are some teams
but I
that
love
would
chaos.
pay him $14 million.
Yep.
How much would Chicago love to have a
for
Mikko
sure.
Rantanen to play with Bedard?
For sure.
So, like, I don't know. But then again, every free agent who seems to be having any kind of, like, salary things, it's always like, oh, Chicago. But, like, most of the time it never gets to that.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit more about my boy Ty Emberson.
Okay.
I love him.
Okay.
And he is really growing into such a great defenseman for us. And, like, he is growing, and, like, he's starting to skate the puck up the ice more. And it's, like, when we signed him, like, his defensive numbers were good, and we really all kind of were just like, all right, we have a good shutdown young defenseman. But, like, he has upside on his offense. And one of his strongest suits is he's just skating the puck out of the zone. And he's, like, not even needing to make that first pass. He just skates it. And that's insane. And he's shooting on net more. And I really want him to get a goal.
He needs a goal.
And we need to extend him now.
I know.
Because as soon as the playoffs hits, he's going to have an insane run. And then some team is going to offer him way more money than we can give him. Or, like, we can justify giving him. So just, like, lock him up to, like, a 4 by 2.5 right now.
That'd be perfect. I'd be okay with that.
Like, it's a bit of an overpay at the moment, sure. But for 4 years, he's going to be your number 4 defenseman sooner rather than later.
Yep.
Like, he will move up to play with Nurse.
Yep.
Or something. But we really need to extend him. And also, Podkolzin, beauty. Like
Such a surprise, and just like the most pleasant surprise.
I know we're all sad about Holloway and Broberg, but like I give the management a lot of credit for replacing them with young players in Podkolzin and Emberson.
Because also
and the fact that we got Emberson as like a back for the cap dump of Cody Ceci
literally
is wild work by Bowman.
Crazy. Also, Podkolzin has the finishing that Holloway didn't.
Well,
he's on his way. Not fully, but he is on his way.
But if we're going to talk about Holloway not having finish, I mean, we can't really look at this year.
No, but alongside Draisaitl, did he have it?
No, but he also didn't really get those opportunities very often.
I guess.
Like the cardio line, as we used to call him, of Holloway, Fogle, McLeod. Man, were they fast, but they didn't do anything but skate.
Yep.
So, like, I get it, but I don't know. I'm very happy with Podkolzin. He's a bigger body. He uses it more. Also, Ty Emberson, going back to him, was throwing the body last night.
I was just going to bring that up. Yes.
Like, dude is using his size. He's skating. He is so good, and what a great pickup. Like, I love him. He's probably going to be my next jersey, if I'm being honest.
It should be. I support that.
And, like, what is he, 24?
Yeah, he's young.
Like, lock him up.
Yeah.
Don't let him do another situation where a team can steal him from you.
Get another offer sheet? That would be brutal. Brutal.
Yeah. Because, like, he's still an RFA this offseason. But extend him long term.
Yeah.
And it also sounds like they want to extend Ekholm soon for a little bit. I don't think it'll be super long, but
Yeah.
they want to keep him around, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, same.
We've kind of buried the lead on this point. Oilers signed John Klingberg
Yeah, we should talk about this quickly.
because I said this was going to happen, and you looked at me and said no. You said, no, 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 no. I hate this. That's not happening.
Okay,
And
I didn't
told
say
you,
I hate
no,
it.
I said we're either signing John Klingberg now or David Savard at the deadline, and you said no.
Yeah, I did say that, didn't I?
You did. I can go pull the clip if you want.
No, I believe you.
Okay. So
I have some
Oilers-
crazy things come out of my mouth sometimes.
Oilers on Friday announced that they are signing John Klingberg 1 year, $1 million, $350,000 in a signing bonus. Hoping to find a permanent or more permanent partner with Darnell Nurse.
Yep.
He's been skating with the team.
Mm-hmm.
He's not expected to play until next week.
He looks good though.
He does look good. And from what he's saying, like he's pain-free for the first time in a long time. He has more mobility than he's had in years. And it's giving me, again, a lot of like Kane vibes when Kane comes back.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know if we can have him even be like 70% of what he was in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good pickup.
Yeah. And also, what was I going to say? He had the same hip surgery as Patrick Kane. And Patrick Kane said he felt the same way when he first came back.
Yep.
So I feel like that's a good indicator that we're going to get, like 70 to 80% from him, which is awesome.
Even if like he's taken a step back, another thing I'm really excited for is just John Klingberg maybe giving Bouchard some lessons on how to walk that line.
Please.
And find those lanes.
Please.
Because he was one of maybe the best in the league when he was with Dallas at doing that. At walking that line and finding a way through. If we can get more of that out of Bouchard because of him, that makes it all worth it.
Yep. And I'm not going to lie, Bouchard was one of the worst players on the ice last night. He needs to be able to hold that line better. Yeah. He got pulled off of PP1.
I know. That's insane.
So, he needs to figure it out.
Bouchard just looks so disinterested sometimes.
Yeah. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. And I hate ripping on him, just like I hate ripping on Skinner. Mm-hmm. So, I try not to do it. But at the same time, I'm like, Bouch, you got to figure it out, man. We have high expectations for you because you've done so well.
You had the most assists by a defenseman in the playoffs ever last season.
Yeah.
We know you can do it.
Yeah.
And we know you can defend. I don't know, just some games he just doesn't look engaged, which probably isn't true. I know he just looks away.
Yeah. He has those eyes.
Yeah.
No offense, Boosh. We love you.
We love you. Don't get me wrong. We love you. And I hope we get you to a nice extension. That's like $9 million maybe.
I'd be okay with 9.
Give him the Nurse contract. Yeah. I'm happy. Whatever.
Yeah.
Speaking of Nurse, #Nurse for Norris, another great game from Nursey.
He's done so well. And you know what? I love to see that.
I'm so very happy that Nursey is having a great year and finding his game. And again, I really think giving a puck-moving defenseman with him is just going to allow him to worry less in the defensive zone about getting the puck out and allow him to focus more on his defense.
Yep.
Because, Nurse has always been good at jumping up in the rush.
For sure.
He's never been a great first pass.
No.
And he's never been great at skating it out.
No.
But putting Klingberg next to him and having that first pass and just allowing him to do more of his jumping up on the rush and defending, I'm very excited for what this pair could do for us.
Yep.
And it doesn't sound like the Oilers are done. From reports and rumors I'm hearing is they are still looking to maybe add another defenseman at the deadline. Maybe less of a bigger name, more of just a depth guy.
I'd be fine with that.
Push Stetcher even further down our depth chart, which sucks because I like Stetcher, but I get it. He's small, and they don't really like that for the playoffs.
I don't like that argument.
I don't like it either. I think Stetcher has so much heart and so much work ethic, and he is a dog out on the ice.
Yeah, he grinds every single shift. And he knows when he messes up. And then he goes out there, when he took the penalty in a terrible time in whatever game that was that he scored. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to go out there and then I'm going to just rip it. Yep. And he went back on the bench and Coffey was like, I was going to bench you if you didn't score there. Yep. So good on you.
100%. But a guy I'm kind of interested in who I think is a little too big for what they're looking at, but Marcus Pettersson out of Pittsburgh. I think he would be a really nice ad. He's got he's bigger. He's got fight in him. He's kind of chippy. So I think he would be a name I'd be interested in, but I think they're looking more depth. So
Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah. It's looming. It's coming up quick.
It is, which is insane to think about. Like, we're already halfway through the season.
Yeah.
A bit of a lighter week for the Oilers up ahead. We've got the Canucks on Thursday. That'll be a good game no matter what. Like, I don't think it's going to become the bloodbath people are expecting it to. Like, I don't think anyone's just going to go after Garland. Like, there might be something early.
I could maybe see Emberson doing it. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But, like,
that's really it.
I don't really see, like, they're just going to go try and win the game.
Or maybe Kapanen.
Maybe. I could see my boy Clapp go after him. We get the Sabres on Saturday. I have fun plans for that game. I'm meeting up with a couple of my friends. We're going to do fondue dinner. We're going to watch the game. And then we're going to, like, play board games all night.
Okay, I'm so jealous. That sounds like so much fun.
It's going to be fantastic. Shout out Bella and Rihanna and Shay.
Yeah, I am going to watch most of it. And then I have a women's game at 6.
Okay.
So I have to be at the arena by 5.
Yeah.
But I'll listen to Bob and Cam on 880 for a bit. And then... yeah, I feel like I always miss like the first period of every like Friday, Saturday night game.
Yeah.
Which I don't hate because our first period's been so bad.
Last night was better, but so we Canucks, Sabres, and then wrap up until our last game before our next episode will be Monday against the Kraken, who aren't great. And then we get like the Red Wings after that. So like it'll be fun. So we got 3 games we can come back to and talk about next week. I think we do have to wrap this up.
Yeah.
We are...
Thank you so much for listening and joining us. This is Mackenzie and Tristan on Blue Line Banter. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on our socials. We're on Instagram and Twitter, or X, the everything app, whatever you want to call it. Tell everyone about it, our pod as well.
Please do.
Your coworkers, your friends, your grandma, your cousins, who else? Your boss, just everybody.
Literally the garbage man.
Yeah. Whatever it is, we appreciate it.
100%. We will see you guys next week and hope you have a great week until then.